some women, even if they are not elderly, even if they are young, they receive less. Okay? Because the households, they know that even if they are young, even if they have got the work capacity, but because of their lower bargaining power in the labor market and the marriage market, the households do not see enough return from them. Okay? Because when a boy is sick, maybe the parents will go to the doctor, but when their daughter is sick, they will not, even if the healthcare is free, okay? Even if there is no healthcare expenditure, still the parents may not go to see the doctor because it is about time. Okay? They may see that it is a wastage of time because in some societies the parents will have to offer a dowry to the son-in-law. So it will not help them basically. Like, or let's say if someone is more educated, there is no guarantee. The more education to the girls will definitely reduce the burden of dowry they will have to offer. There is no guarantee. Okay? Because remember, when the girls are more educated, they will go for even a better and educated husband. And the better educated husband may ask for even more dowry. Okay? So the problem can be even complex. So it's not always true, but there is no guarantee. So the households, that's why the household decision making will be dictated by various factors. It's not just how much, whether the medicine is expensive or not. They look at the time allocation. Okay? Bringing their daughter to the doctor, maybe they'll have to spend, even if, as I said, the medicine is free, and the doctors, the medical facilities, everything is free, still they don't see the huge return from it, basically, because they don't see that it will save the amount of dowry that they will have to put forward for their daughter. Unless they see any monetary gain, they don't spend time or money and resources on those. Okay? And we have discussed about the labor market, right? Okay. So these are various considerations. Okay? So you start with this household factors. Well, we started with the income basically. We started with the income level. Last week I talked about Y star, the threshold. I said if the income is lower than threshold, then you discriminate. Why? Because it is efficient and it is not equitable, but it is efficient. So below a certain threshold level of income, the unequal distribution is efficient, and as a production unit, you need to maximize your output. Okay? And beyond Y star, it is both efficient and equal when you distribute resources equally. Okay, that's what we have seen. But now, today, we have come up with other factors. So it's not just about the household factors. It is not just about efficiency. It is about the position of the individuals, or it is not just about the productivity. It is also some external factors. So all these things together will ultimately result in an unequal allocation of resources. So you need to understand all these factors. So it's not just about income. It's not just about poverty. Okay? It's poverty, yes, the low income is one of the factors. It's poverty, it's the opportunity of the labor market, it is the opportunity of the credit, imperfection in the credit market, it is the non-monetization of the contribution of the individual household members, and it is also the position of the individuals within the household, whether they are elderly and so on. Okay? Right. Okay. So now, let us talk about some evidence, okay? So I put forward many questions. Like last week, I put one hypothesis that to what extent is efficient and or not, and today also we put some question mark. Now let's see what does evidence tell us. Okay, now one evidence is from China. They compared two provinces. One is a relatively developed province, another is a relatively underdeveloped or poor province. Okay. Now the idea here is that it's not just about the household. Maybe the external environment also can have its impact. Okay. Like if you have got a richer household in a poor province, then possibly because of this overall underdevelopment, that rich household also will discriminate their household members. Okay. Because so maybe a rich household in a poor countries will have discrimination, or a poor household in a rich country may not discriminate. It's because if there is a poor household in a rich country, maybe it's not part of their culture, it's not the social norm, or maybe the household will avoid or averse to any inequality because it is not practiced in that country, because the overall level of development of that country is quite high. Okay? So to what extent this development, the overall development of the country or a region can affect or contribute to this household decision making. Okay? So therefore they have taken two provinces, okay? Well, and to compare the discrimination, and for consumption goods, for food and calorie, there is no evidence of discrimination. Okay? So it doesn't matter whether the poor families living in poor region, poor families living in the poor province or a rich province, there wasn't any significant discrimination between the boys and girls both in rich and poor province. Maybe because the food and calorie is a short-term commitment. Okay, it's not a long-term phenomenon. Okay, so the households and maybe the households value food and calorie intake or the weight assigned to the food and calorie is much higher than the weight assigned to education and health goods. But for health goods, they found that there is a discrimination against the younger girls, 0 to 4 years old, okay, in the poor province only. And also, so therefore, in the rich province, there is no discrimination for health goods. Okay? So that in the richer province, whether the household is poor or not, irrespective of the income of the household, in the richer province, there is no discrimination for health goods. Okay? But for educational expenditure, both provinces, they show a pro-boy bias. Okay? So it doesn't matter whether it is in the richer province or it is in the poor province. In both provinces, there is a bias for educational expenditure. Okay? So from this, you have to say to what extent or which hypothesis is true. Is it because of the increase in industry scale, or is it the work capacity? Is it because of this labor market, or is it because of this earning capacity which will support this behavior? Okay? And also the short-term and the long-term commitment. Okay? Right. So the second example is this, the expenditure. To what extent the household will adjust their expenditure when there's a boy versus there's a girl in the family. Okay? So this is called the sibling rivalry. So which says that the siblings are 50% more likely that they will attend the secondary school when there are all sisters instead of there is a boy or there is a brother in the same household. So if there are two sisters in the household, it is very likely that both of them will go to the secondary school. But if another household with the same condition, same level of income, if they have got, instead of having two sisters, if they have got one brother, one sister, it is very likely that the sister will go only primary school and the brother will go complete the secondary and further. Okay? So see how it is the same level of income, then how it affects the household decision making. Okay? That's a sibling rivalry. But this is not rivalry between the brother and sister, it is the household decision basically. Okay? How they allocate, okay? Where they make the adjustment. Okay? Because every penny has got the opportunity cost. Okay? So if you want to send the son up to the university, then you can't afford to send your daughter to the secondary school. Okay? Because there is opportunity cost there. Okay? So that's an example that to what extent the adults will adjust their expenditure and how they reallocate their resources if there are boys only, if there are girls only family and daughter only family, and when there are families with daughter and son. Okay? So that's another example. And the third example or the third evidence is in terms of the time. It's about the difference in the child care, how much time the parents or the mother spend on their the son and daughter. Okay, so that's in terms of the child care, in terms of the breastfeeding, in terms of the vaccination. Okay, because all of these are virtually these things do not cost anything in money terms at least, okay? But still we found that these babies, the boys and the girls at their early stage of their life, they are being discriminated because the vaccination is free, okay? You go to the health center and they will vaccinate you. The doctors or the nurse, they will vaccinate it. It is free. But still, the many children, many female children, they are not properly vaccinated by their parents. It's all about time. The breastfeeding, it is also time. The child care is also about the time, because if you put more time in the child care, maybe the mother won't be able to go out of the house and work and earn, okay? Or maybe the mother will not be able to do other household works. Okay? So it's all about time, okay? And there's a difference there, okay? But you can say, well, it's not, there is no money involved here, but it could be cultural, yes, because everything is not about money. Okay, so everything is not about working capacity, because there is nothing to do with the work capacity here, because they don't know whether their daughter will be highly productive or not at that stage. Okay, so it's about other factors are also important here, and also we found that in the evidence shows that in Bangladesh, the participation of the women in the credit market can have a large and significant impact on the health of the boys and the girls. So, which means that it depends whether the women, they have got control over the resources. If they can have enough control over the resources, for example, by having good access to the credit market, then they can ensure some equality in terms of the health expenditure on boys and girls. So in that sense, the allocation of the credit to the men was not found to have the similar impact. So therefore, the recipient of the credit is also important. So it's not just giving money to the household. It is who is getting the money that is also important. Who is getting the credit? Who is the borrower? So it's not about, so therefore the household is not just the entity, it's not one single entity. So different household members have got the different decision making, different utility function. So therefore, the recipient of the credit is also important, because if the same credit is given to the men, then this significant improvement in the health for the boys and the girls wasn't observed. Okay? So it's not just giving the credit, it is also giving it is empowering them in the decision making. Okay? Because yes, the household, as soon as they get credit, they have got money to invest in health and education and so on. But then the person who borrows money will have more in the decision making, whether they will buy a television, whether they buy a cow, or they will spend money on medicine, health, or spending money on dowry for the marriage of their daughters and so on. Okay, so this that will affect. Okay.